Welcome. This is Eitan Shalom at the Body Mind Wellness Center, and I'm here with my patient that I'm doing two things on. First of all, this is someone who has some pretty serious functional digestive issues, what would probably be labeled gastritis and/or irritable bowel syndrome by a Western medical doctor. To me, he has Qi stagnation with an accumulation of dampness and pathological heat. And it's what we would call a gallbladder invading the stomach or liver invading the spleen if we were using what's called Zhang Fu diagnosis in Chinese medicine. We have more than one way of diagnosing. Anyway, to wit, the points that I'm doing on him today on the back, I'll also do points on the front, are points that regulate the energy of the gut and clear out pathological accumulations of energy. And so far, we've been very successful working together on this. This is his fourth treatment, also working on muscular issues, and they're linked. The same anxiousness that causes chronic muscle tension in this person also is disrupting his flow of food in his stomach. It's weakening his appetite. He's the kind of person that describes himself as losing his appetite with stress, whereas a lot of us eat more with stress. So that's the kind of state that he's in now. And I'm doing points that regulate the qi of the liver, the gallbladder, the spleen, and the stomach. And those are the four internal organs that have to do with digestion in Chinese medicine, the primary ones. And then he has a lot of muscular tension in his lower back, and especially in his diaphragm. And so I've also done trigger points on his kidney in the level of the kidneys, but I'm not doing them so much for the action of the kidney point as the action of releasing the pressure of the muscles that are just below the diaphragm. So that's what this point is here. And I got a very strong reaction. I'm doing dry needling. There we go. You see, you okay? Mm-hmm. Yeah, did you see that muscle jump? That's because I'm on a trigger point in the quadratus lumborum. Same thing here. So that's a pretty deep insertion because I'm in the quadratus lumborum, and he's used to the needling, so he tolerates it well. And you always adjust the needling to the individual patient, what they tolerate. So with a new patient who hasn't had acupuncture before or dry needling before, you always use a smaller needle, a lighter insertion, and then you gradually increase as the patient tolerates it and what they're comfortable with. I, for example, love deep needling. So when I go to my friend for dry needling or acupuncture, I'm always asking him if we're needling points on the back to go deeper. So that's the first thing that I'm doing with him. The second thing is he's got a lot of tension in his shoulders and neck, and described that he has trouble turning his neck to the left, right? Or to the right? To the left.
To the right.
To the right, yeah. So I'm also I did some dry needling on the upper trapezius points, on some multifidus points and cervicals, and then the upper trapezius. And so here you'll notice this needle is blue, that needle's yellow. This is a 34 gauge, this is a 30 gauge. So this is a much thicker needle. And I did that because I knew he was going to be super tight on the right. And so I'm going to just walk over there now. And sorry for the camera flipping around. I hope I'm not now upside down when you're looking at this. And so you can see here that I've done a needle here on the scalene and the upper trapezius. And these are not particularly large needles or deep insertions, but you don't need large needles on the neck because the neck muscles are so delicate as it is. So a smaller needle, you'll get plenty of response. Especially this point had a huge response. I think this is the muscle that he was strained, which is really typical with somebody saying that he slept on his stomach, and then after sleeping on his stomach, had trouble moving his neck. I'm going to see, well, no, I can't really do this with my left hand. There we go. So this is the upper trapezius. This is called cross fiber needling. So I'm needling from the back towards the front. If I were using both my hands, I would be holding my finger here. This is how I insert it, holding my finger there so I can feel the needle going in this direction. And that way I'm well above any problems of being anywhere near the lungs. I'm only in the upper trapezius muscle. I grab the muscle with my hand like that. And so I'm just going to check it now because it's been in for a little while. I like to stimulate it a second time as the person has relaxed a bit. Okay, there we go. Could you feel that move a little bit? Yeah, okay. And then I did some light needling on his rhomboids and the origin of the levator scapula. So this, you can definitely treat two things at once when they're related like this, because the muscular tension that's causing this is the same muscular tension that's interfering with his gut. And that's a muscular tension that originates in nervous system tension, what we call stress. And that's through what's called the gut-brain connection. Stress will tighten up the diaphragm. Stress will tighten up the muscles surrounding the gut. The gut is a giant tube. And so nervous tension, whether it's tension from anxiety or frustration, what we call stress, will definitely inhibit the natural flow of food through the gut, which is why people get indigestion if there's an argument at the table or if they're upset. So that's the story with this young man. And now I'm going to take these needles out, turn them over, and I'm going to do a few points on the front because he's got a lot of tension in the abdomen that I've been releasing. And you described it as like bubbles and also like water flowing. Didn't you say that? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so he's describing the effects of the acupuncture treatment continuing at home in exactly the way that we learn to describe it in acupuncture school. We learn to tell people, but I didn't tell him this. He volunteered that he felt like bubbles or water flowing. And the thing is, qi, what we call qi, the Chinese character is steam rising off a pot of rice. So it is a gas in a way, in that sense. So describing this bubbles is very apt. Thank you for tuning in. If you like this video, please click the like sign. Feel free to comment or ask questions. And of course, subscribe to the page. And I'll see you next time. Thank you.